Alright, we're going to start drawing our catapult, and a few things about Creo that you want to know is that when you go to this button, a lot of these menus are just like any standard Windows program. We have New, and this looks like the Open, and of course Save. You can also go File and New and all that stuff. But we'll go New, and some of the options that pop up here, we have sketch, part, assembly, drawing. The two we'll be using are part and assembly. First thing we're going to use is part to draw a part of our catapult, and then later on we'll make an assembly file to bring all these parts together. So let's type in, we'll call this body, and again, when it first comes up you have front, top, and right, and they call these datum planes. And basically this is kind of like X, Y, and Z if you're working in math. But X and Y, we know about those. Z comes out towards you and gives it depth. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the word front, and we're going to go over here to the sketch tool and click on that button, and you can see this rotates and this little window here pops up, and we'll hit sketch. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to do some center lines, and we're going to click on this geometry center line right here, and we're going to click on this vertical orange dotted line. We'll click once here, and we're going to come down somewhere here, and you see these little red lines. This means that it's straight. It's a straight line right on the datum plane. I'm going to click here as well. So now I have a center line running right here. Then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to click on this one and run it over here to where it's horizontal. And the reason we do that is because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the rectangle tool, and I'm going to click here. I'm going to let go. I'm going to move my mouse over until I see these little red arrows pop up. Watch that again. See those little red arrows pop up? That means that I am equally, this rectangle is equal on both sides of this center line. I'm going to move it down until I see the little red lines pop up on this horizontal plane, and then I'm going to click again. And what that does is that allows us, when we resize this, it's going to keep it basically based off this center point here. If I didn't have that, oops, I'm sorry. If I didn't have that, let me undo that. If I didn't have those little red lines pop up, when I resize this, let's change it to 50, and then this one to, I don't know, 10. You can see that it doesn't make it even with the center, but when I change this, well, I'll change this to 50, and this one to 50. You don't have to do this. I'm just showing you here. See how this is nice and center, and that'll be important later on as we go through this. I'm going to delete this guy. Okay, so to make our catapult here, we're going to draw this rectangle, and again we use the center lines. We drew until we saw the little red arrows pop up, and now it's time to resize this. And so this measurement here, we're going to change that to 5 inches, and press enter. And then, and I'm sorry, to get there you click on the blue arrow and then double click, and it's hard to see when they're kind of small, but double click on the number, and we'll change this one to 1.25, and then this is really small, and to zoom in we hit this refit button, and it brings everything up nice and front and center. And so this number here was 5. This number here was 1.25. If you have any questions on that, let me know. So once we have that done, I'm going to click on the blue check mark, and I'm going to click and hold down with my middle mouse wheel to rotate this around, and then we'll let go. You can see that there's no depth to it yet. So to add depth to it, I'm going to hit the extrude button, which is this one right here, and then I'm going to change from this pull down menu. I'm going to hit this second button. It says extrude on both sides of the sketch plane, and you'll watch my little box here. And so now you see I've extruded on both sides of this plane right here. So I'm on both sides. That's what we want. And we'll change, there's a couple ways to change this number. We can double click here, or we can double click up here. I'm going to use this one down here on this part, and that one is we'll go with 2.5 and press enter. And so that looks pretty good. I'm going to hit the green check mark, and so there is part of my body. So now with the one that Cobb had made, the middle right here, this was carved out. So I'll show you how we'll do that. So let's click on sketch, and we'll click on this face right here on this end. Make sure you just click on the face, and in the sketch plane it should say surf for the surface, and we'll hit sketch. Now we're going to do a couple things here to make it a little easier for us to draw on. I'm going to go up here where it says sketch up here at the very top. I'm going to click on references, and I'm going to add a reference. Watch as I move my mouse over the bottom part of this. You see this blue line pop up? I'm going to click on that, and another reference should pop up for a surface. It says surf, and that's what we want. We'll hit close on that. Now I'm going to click and draw a rectangle, and the reason we had to add that reference is because now my mouse goes right to the bottom of this this body part here. And that's what we it'll kind of help us out for some of these steps. I'm going to click and come up and over. I'm not worried about the red lines on this. And then I'm going to click on this blue arrow, and now I need to change some of these dimensions here. I'm going to change this one here to 0.75, or that's 3/4 of an inch. And then I'm going to change this one here to I'm going to change that one to 2. And so you can see I've got a big space here, and I've got a little space here. So here's what we need to do. We need to do a little bit of math here. We need to figure out how to equally space this rectangle. So if I have 2 for this rectangle, and this gray part here was 2.5, if I subtract those, that leaves me with 0.5, or half an inch. Now if I divide half an inch in half, that leaves me with 0.25, or 1/4 of an inch, and that's what we want on each side. So right here, this number should be 0.25. And if you don't have that, or if you don't see that, let me know, and I'll help you get that dimension. But you can see now looks like we're pretty much equal on both sides of this, which is what we want. And actually, I'm going to change this 0.75 here to something else, because it looks a little small. I'm going to change it to 1. Let's change that to 1, from 0.75 to 1. That looks a little bit better. And we'll hit the blue check mark then. Okay, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. Now I have my red box here. If you happen to click off and it's blue, just go over here. This thing is called the model tree, and you can click on sketch 2. It should highlight it red. And then I'm going to click on the extrude tool, and we can either extrude a part or we can also remove material. We can also take it away. So I'm going to flip the direction with this button here. I can also use this little orange, this little arrow in the middle of this yellow box. I can do it either way. Anyway, we'll want the box pointing in to our part. I'm going to hit this pull down menu. I'm going to find this button right here. It says intersect with all surfaces. And click on that one, and you can see our box now goes out of our part a little ways. And then the last thing I'm going to do is hit this remove material button, and we'll hit the green check mark. And so now we have removed part of it. We kind of cut away at that. And so that's our body so far. Now next thing we'll add in the next video is some holes to this to add for the wheels and for the throwing arm and that sort of thing.